All right, so this is going to be a short tutorial on practicing with Photoshop selection tools. In this assignment, I've given you some sample pictures to work with. You could certainly do a Google search to find any other images that you want to use or work with some pictures that you've taken during the semester. But I'm directing you here to download these practice files, and you can just work right out of your downloads file. That would be fine, but certainly you can put these in a specific folder if you wish to have them someplace else. So as I open these, I'm going to hit the More Actions button up here, Open in a New Window, so I'm able to get the download button here. And I'm going to do that for all the files. Now, if it doesn't go right automatically into your downloads folder, you can choose that, or you can choose some other place that you know you're going to be able to work out of. So maybe I'll just go to desktop, create a new folder, and then this is selecting tools. So I'll just open that, and I'll save my folders as I go. So I'm just going to continue to go back to the assignment post, click on each image, download them. First, you have to open them in a new window before you get the download button. And then they're going to continue to save in this file that I've already set up. So it should be pretty easy as I go back to do each one. Open in a new window, hit the downloads button, and save. Okay, so now I'm going to grab Photoshop, close out some stuff here. And I'm going to go and open a few of these files. So I actually made the folder on my desktop. Selecting tools, and you can see I downloaded all those files, and they're all in the same place. So I'm going to start with the Pitbull image, and I'm going to hit Control because I think I'm going to use the rock ledge as well. So I'm going to open up these two images, and I'm going to start with the selecting tools. Now, you've got a number of selecting tools here, and I start with really basic ones, which are the rectangular marquee tool, and if I right-click, you also have an elliptical marquee tool. Now, they're not precise, they're very basic, so if I were to drag and draw out my rectangular marquee, I'm getting, not a precise selection, but you may not need it for some work that you're doing. It depends on what you're trying to select. Now, you can grab your move tool and certainly select this out. I'm just going to hit Control Z because I don't want to move it that way. But if you're in the selecting tool, you should be able to push this around if it didn't land in the area that you wanted. So now any selection that you make, you basically can do three moves. You can select, you can copy, and then you can paste that either into the same file or into a brand new file. So let's just say I am going to hit Control C to copy this. I can then jump over to my rock ledge picture and hit Control V, and I paste it in, right? So now I've got my background layer here, which is the rock ledge. I've got layer 1, which is the pasted layer of the dog, and I can use my move tool to click and drag this around wherever I need it to be. The other thing you'll be able to do is you'll be able to resize these by using the edit menu and choosing a command called free transform. The key command is Control T for that. It will give you your bounding box. You will be able to resize any layer that you paste in to whatever size you need. So as long as you've got the size that you want, when you click the enter button, that bounding box will disappear and you'll be able to go on to whatever step you need to go on to next. Now, that's not a precise selection with the rectangular marquee tool or the elliptical marquee. You can get more precise selections with some of these other selection tools. So if I right click over here, I see a set of lasso tools. The lasso you can do as a freehand. I'm just going to go back to my pit bull and show you how to use the lasso tool. So first, because I have this selection and I don't need it anymore, I have the option to go to the select menu and deselect, or I can hit Control D on my keyboard. That will let me create a new selection. Okay. So again, you've got a set of 3 lasso tools. The regular lasso is one that you can freehand as you click and go around the edge of something. Now, I don't particularly have a steady hand. Sometimes having a stylus pen is much better for this kind of work. And we do have those, so we can use them in class. I always tell my students, don't worry if your selection isn't perfect. Okay, because there are ways to clean up your selection, and it really is key to have neat and clean selections when you're doing this compositing kind of work. Now, when you end where you left off, that is going to complete that shape, and you'll have a selection. Now, I can copy and paste this, but this is not neat and clean. I do need to go and do some work on this, and I'll show you some tools in a moment. But I'm just going to go through some of these selection tools first. So for me, the lasso tool is not like a perfect, like I don't have a steady hand, so I'm not going to use that one. So Control D to deselect. You could go back and grab the magnetic lasso tool. The magnetic lasso tool will let you click and drag along the edge. And as I'm clicking and dragging, the magnetic lasso is going to stick like a magnet to the edges. So the computer is reading contrast here, the contrast between the edges of the dog and the background. All right. Again, don't worry if it's not a perfect selection, because we'll be able to clean up anything that it grabbed too much of or it didn't grab enough of, right? And let's just say I'm going around just for the sake of speed. End where I left off, and there's my selection. Okay, now if you're wondering what the polygon lasso tool does, that's good for anything that you're selecting that has like a straight edge, because the polygon, let's just Control D that, the polygon will, actually let me get rid of the magic wand, Control D. Polygon is going to let you draw very specific straight edge shapes like that, right? So that's good for buildings, anything geometric like that you're trying to select. Control D. In this case, it's not going to work for our dog. But the other nice tool that I think is kind of a smart tool in a way is the quick selection, because that will let me go around the edge of something from the inside. So I'm just kind of clicking and dragging around the inside edge. And that's actually doing a pretty good job. Oops, it grabbed a little bit in between here. But there's a trick, right? You can either grab your minus up here, or you could also do the shortcut, which is the ALT key, and that will automatically switch you into the minus mode. So that let me kind of clean up over there inside, in between the dog's legs. Okay, now if I didn't quite grab all the tongue, or I grabbed too much of the background, here's the way to clean up your selections, because what you don't want is you don't want any leftover bits that you're grabbing from the background inside your selections. You don't want to carry any of that into the place that you're going to paste your selection. So this little mask here is called Quick Mask mode. And if I double click on Quick Mask, it can either show me the masked areas in red or the selected areas in red. So if I choose selected areas and I click OK, and I go back to quick mask mode, now the dog is the thing that's being selected, and so it put this red mask over everything. It didn't really turn your picture red. It's just that the red is showing the mask. In other words, the selected areas. Now, as I zoom in here with my Control Plus, my Control Plus, I can see that I didn't quite get a clean edge here. So I can zoom in And I might just grab my navigator for this. So if I go to the window menu and I choose my navigator alphabetically, actually my navigator must already be out somewhere. Nope, there it is. Okay. So I can navigate by bringing this orange box to the area that I'm working in. Okay. So in quick mask mode will work with a black and white brush. When I grab my brush, I can either add to my selection with the black brush. If I toggle to white, I can subtract from my selection. So quick mask mode, which I'm hovering over right now in the toolbar, is a way to clean up your selections when the selection tools are not perfect for you. And I use it all the time. It's a very valuable tool. I don't like bringing any junky selections in. I like my edges to be nice and clean when I'm doing compositing work. And zooming in is key for this. And actually, that's not so bad. I'm going to just kind of leave that edge of the dog. But maybe I add a little bit more of his tongue down there. I can navigate around the edge of the object that I'm trying to select just to check everything. But it looks like the quick selection tool did a really good job. And I really only had to do a little bit of quick mask mode around here. So now I'm going to get out of quick mask mode. First, I'm just going to zoom out, Control 0 to see my entire image. Click on quick mask mode to get out of it. And now my selection is much cleaner than it was. So of course, now I can hit Control C to copy everything that's inside the selection. I jump over to my new image and I hit Control V to paste. And I grab my move tool, and I probably want to bring my dog down here to the edge so it doesn't look like he has a set of cut off legs. That looks, a little bit more realistic if I place him here. This layer I'm going to, click and get rid of, drag it to my trash can. And I can do a number of things here. I can go back to my dog layer and hit Control J. Now I have two dogs. Right. If I want to turn this other dog around, I can go to the edit menu. I can transform, and I can either rotate this dog, flip this dog horizontal so he's looking in the opposite direction. Again, that's the edit menu. You can either free transform or use some of the very specific transform commands to change those layers, resize them, do whatever you need to put them in the right place or to achieve whatever effect you're trying to get here. So essentially what you guys are doing is you are downloading all those files, you're making nice clean selections, you're copying and you're pasting into a new image so that you can make a brand new composite image made out of multiple layers, as you can see right here in my layers palette. So I'm just going to go into the file menu, save as. This is going to be a brand new thing. So maybe if this was originally rock ledge, I can say rock ledge with dog. So now I know it's my new version. Save it in that same folder and say OK. So have fun doing your compositing and remember to make clean selections.